Hello, my name is Ellen Mukwewa from Morel Consulting Limited. This is a video outlining the key differences between Ofsted's inspection framework from 2019 and the recent framework published in September this year. The video will focus on what's different for non-association independent schools only. Let's start by looking at the main documents that contain the information about the frameworks. From 2019, we had the Education Inspection Framework, which gave an overview of how schools, colleges, all the education providers are inspected. We still have that. We also had a handbook for the inspection of non-association independent schools, which gave us information about how inspectors go about evaluating the school. And this year, that has been replaced by 3 documents. We have the Non-Association Independent School Inspection Toolkit. There is the Operational Guide, which is really a document for Ofsted inspectors, and it speaks directly to them, but it is so useful, so please read it. And then there is a third document, Inspection Information for Non-Association Independent Schools. This also gives information that previously used to be in the handbook about the general way that inspection works. So those 3 documents contain what used to be contained in the handbook, but there's a little bit more in the form of that operational guide. And then getting back to 2019, we had the handbook for additional inspections of non-association independent schools. That is still the same. We still have that. And the changes that we're discussing affect only one type of inspection, the standard inspection, which is why the handbook for additional inspections remains the same, because all the other types of inspections that take place in independent schools remain the same. Report versus report card. This is just to highlight the key differences. We are moving away from that report there, which has, on the first page, all the areas of evaluation and all the grades. The new report card looks like this. The top part of the report card just gives you an indication of how well the school is doing in terms of grades, but you don't actually see the areas for which each grade has been awarded. The bottom part of the report, which is right at the end, gives you that information. You see all the areas that have been awarded a certain grade, and you can click on each of those and see a bit more detail about how inspectors arrived at the grades. So that is the main difference in the reporting. Evaluation areas, there is a lot of change around these. In the 2019 framework, there was a grade for overall effectiveness. As we know, that is no longer being used currently, and in the 2025 framework, it's not there. In the 2009 framework, we had 4 areas of judgment, plus early years and sixth form if you had them. In the 2025 inspection, we have, I hadn't counted them, 2, 4, 6. We have 7 areas of evaluation plus early years and post-16 provision. So what's different in terms of evaluation areas? We've already mentioned the fact that there's no overall effectiveness, which is great. Inclusion is a brand new evaluation area, and it focuses on the extent to which the school identifies and addresses barriers to achievement, to well-being and belonging. We're mainly talking about areas of disadvantage, like the existence of special educational needs, whether pupils are in care, and any other disadvantages that you might identify. Safeguarding is not new, but it is now a standalone area of evaluation, which is different. And previously, it was evaluated under leadership and management, and the judgment was, is it effective or not effective? Now, the judgment is, are the standards for safeguarding met or not met? And there are some areas whose profile has improved in that they are now included in the name of the evaluation area. So these areas already, they were present in the 2019 framework, but now they have been highlighted. Governance is now in the evaluation area leadership and governance. It is actually named in the title. Attendance as well has been included in the name of an evaluation area, and so has well-being. But what's different within evaluation areas? Starting with curriculum and teaching and also achievement, there is something which is brand new, not because inspectors did not inspect these areas, because some of them are included in the independent school standards and most of them form part of the English and the maths curriculum, but as an area of evaluation, foundational knowledge. Inspectors will look at speaking and listening, reading. This is not new. It was a main area of focus in the 2019 framework. Composition, spelling, handwriting, mathematical knowledge. I resisted the urge to say exactly what I think about the handwriting aspect there because I said I would not comment. So I will continue. What else is different within the evaluation areas? In the leadership and governance area of evaluation, leaders' workload and well-being is also now being considered. You will know that in the 2019 framework, leaders were required to take into account staff workload and well-being, but nobody was looking at the workload and well-being of leaders. But now in the 2025 framework, the proprietors and governors are required to take into account the workload and well-being of leaders, which is great. Professional learning and expertise is being highlighted in this framework. Having a more organized approach to CPD and also the use of evidence-based approaches. This is highlighted not only in leadership and governance, but also in the curriculum and teaching areas as well. And then professional engagement and contributing to the wider education system. So networking with other schools and other organizations is something that's now included in the leadership and governance evaluation area, and contributing to the wider education system, not just your own school. So there's a lot to look at. Schools may already have been doing this, but it is now an area in which you will be evaluated. Anything else different within the evaluation areas? Well, the leadership of the area is now something that's present in all evaluation areas. So if you're talking about behavior and attendance, the leadership of that area is something that inspectors will make judgments about. If you're talking about achievement, the leadership of that area is something that inspectors will make a judgment about. Also, inclusion within the area is something that is now present in all evaluation areas. So if you're looking at curriculum and teaching, inclusion within that area is something that inspectors will evaluate, and that is just spread across all of the evaluation areas. And then independent school standards relevant to each area. So unlike in the previous framework where the standards were evaluated only under leadership and management, they are now evaluated under all of the evaluation areas. How about the independent school standards? So let's talk more about that. They are still evaluated, but now they're distributed across relevant evaluation areas, as I've just said. Leadership and governance holds any standards that are not covered elsewhere. So the independent school standards have been distributed across the various evaluation areas depending on where they're relevant, but there are some standards that do not naturally fit in any of the evaluation areas. Those standards are evaluated under leadership and governance. But also, overall compliance with the independent school standards sits within leadership and governance. And then meeting the standards is one of two factors for achieving expected standard or better. So compliance with the standards is key to getting a good outcome during your inspection. The grading scales are different. I'm sure we are all now familiar with this, but I've just given you a slide which illustrates the difference between the two grading systems. What might need a bit more explanation, and I've created a lovely diagram to highlight this, is exactly how grading works. So I've produced a flow chart which I am hoping is clear enough to explain how it all works. The first step is to determine whether or not a school has achieved the expected standard in whatever evaluation area you're looking at. So that's where inspectors will start. Have you achieved the expected standard? If yes, could you have achieved a strong standard? If yes, have you maybe achieved the exceptional standard? Which is great. But if the answer to the first question is no, then do any of the indicators under urgent improvement apply to you? Because if they do, then the grade is urgent improvement. If they don't, then the grade needs attention. I hope this is a simple way of putting that across. What's different about the process? There are three core principles that inspectors are required to follow, and they're listed in the operational guide. But one of them, which I thought to highlight, was they're required to consider the extent to which pupils not only achieve but also belong and thrive. I thought this might interest you because I think this is an area where independent schools excel. Oh, but enough. I said I would not be commenting. Moving on. There is now an optional nominee. You can choose a senior leader with thorough knowledge of the school's day-to-day operation to act as the nominee. I'm going to say a bit more about the nominee in a minute. One other thing that's different about the process is during that planning call, it's now called a planning call. In the previous framework, it was called a preparation call, and it was split into an educational conversation, an educationally focused conversation, and a planning call. But now it is called a planning call, and it is split into three. What I wanted to highlight was that during this call, there is now going to be a discussion about the school's approach to inclusion, how you are identifying pupils who are disadvantaged, what those disadvantages are, how you are addressing those areas of disadvantage by reducing barriers to achievement, barriers to well-being, barriers to belonging, barriers to thriving. So that's an important thing I wanted to highlight. We mentioned the nominee. What does the nominee do? They act as the main link between the inspection team and the school. It is an optional role. There's no disadvantage if one is not appointed. The nominee can join planning calls with the head teacher and the senior team. Only logistical or contextual information is shared, never confidential or complaint details. There is some training available for anyone who is going to be a nominee during the inspection, and Ofsted have provided a link to it. Let's see, I'll add the link somewhere so you can also get it. And Ofsted will want to know who the nominee is going to be and what their role in the school is beforehand. What else is different about the process? So no more deep dives. We're moving away from deep dives in the 4 to 6 areas, usually 4 because most independent schools are small. The deep dives would include a discussion with leaders, lesson visits, looking at books from the lessons visited, talking to pupils, talking to staff. Now, under the new framework, we have learning walks. Learning walks which are focused, they can be focused on inclusion, curriculum and teaching and achievement, or leadership. And then reviewing pupils' work, speaking with pupils, focused leadership meetings. And then there's case sampling. It is mainly going to be used to get more information about inclusion. So they will choose about 6 pupils, one with an EAC plan. If there are any pupils who are known to or were previously known to social services, they will be choose any pupils with a disadvantage or any other barriers to learning, to achievement, to well-being, to belonging, to thriving can be chosen in that group. Inspectors will want to follow their learning throughout the school and talk to them to find out how well the school reduces barriers. Is there anything else that's different about the process? There is a sort of co-production. Inspectors and school leaders will jointly agree to inspection activities. I know that in the 2019 framework, during that the preparation call, there is a discussion about which areas do we choose for the deep dives, etc. But it seems there is a little bit more dialogue, more discussion in this new framework. We will see when it's implemented, but it says that inspectors and school leaders will jointly agree inspection activities, including which areas, staff, and types of evidence gathering activities that will take place. Another thing that's different is there will be frequent reflective conversations. In this framework, they've actually said when they will, they did say when they would happen in the previous one, but there are more in the 2025 framework. 6 set times when there will be a reflection, plus ongoing reflective discussions during the inspection activity. This is outlined in the operational guidance. So it gives leaders more opportunities to make sure that inspectors' findings are in line with where the school think they are and the evidence that has been seen. So that is it, an overview of the key differences between the two frameworks. Thank you. I hope this session has been helpful. Please find time to read those key documents if you can. I wanted to let you know that in autumn 2 in 2026, I will be delivering a half-day training which will be available in two formats. There'll be a central workshop on a date to be confirmed where leaders can buy tickets and attend an event. I guess closer to the time, I'll ask if people would prefer an in-person event in some sort of central location, or whether they're happy to attend an event online. And then there'll also be tailored in-school workshops for leadership teams. So if you want, I can visit your school and deliver the same workshop. Or if you're a group of schools and you gather your school leaders at a central place, I can come and deliver that training workshop. It will include learning from my clients who have been inspected at that time and any published reports that are available, which I will devour as soon as they come out. That's why the workshop is in autumn 2, because the new inspection framework will be implemented from January 2026 for us. So, in order for it to be a valuable workshop, I need information from those inspections. If you're interested in either of the two, please contact me. Email address is below. Thank you.